Well, listen, you just struck a nerve. I want to know what you told your son because I have a 12-year-old son. Now, he did make the team. However, he's obsessed with the fact that he's the shortest person on the team. He sees dad, I'm 6'3". He's like, Dad, why? Like, when am I going to? I'm like, dude, relax. You're going to be taller than me. It's going to be
Right.
fine. And so, a lot of these guys, they've been playing for years. This is my son's first team, the first time making the school team. And so he's steadily comparing himself to the other kids. I'm really curious. What did you tell your son? Because we all taking notes, Nona. Help us out.
Yeah. Well, so the main message that I gave my son, and this was before he even found out that he didn't make the team, is I told him, I said, God, he resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. Pride is one of those things that's very subtle because people think that pride is, oh, I think I'm the bomb. I think I'm the best. No, that's arrogance. What pride is pride basically says, I know what's best. And so when my son, when he's like, look, I know I can beat everybody. I'm this on the team. I'm that on the team. I'm like, honey, look, you right now have a mixture of pride and arrogance, which is a deadly mixture. And God will not give you the grace in order to achieve the goal because you're not walking in humility. You've got to be humble. What that means is accepting whatever God's decision is and fully occupying the lane that God has given to you. I think in the case of your son, it's like, listen, God can make you tall tonight. He can make you tall in the next 5 minutes. But if he doesn't do it, then there's a reason for it. So, how do you operate in the lane that God has given to you at the height that you're at now? And frankly, Paul even said, look, God's strength is made perfect in weakness. So, if you are as tall as everybody else and you score as many points as everybody else, it's just like that's to be expected. But when you go out there and you're crushing it and you're the shortest one on the team, it's like, man, what's going on with him? Like, God gets glory out of that. So that's what I told my son is I was like, look, you have an opportunity now. You didn't make the team, but you have an opportunity now to demonstrate resilience and to demonstrate that this is something you really want and to go out there and be stronger than ever before, but always to the glory of God.
Yeah, I got to do a better parenting job. I need some more Nona notes. That's what
No.
you need to trademark nonanotes.com. I
Oh,
need some
God.
Nona notes. So you went on this journey for yourself before you taught it to us. What was the biggest turning point? The thing that made the tide turn in the right direction for you as you set out to kill the comparison in your life?
It was learning that celebrating others is the key to killing comparison in ourselves. When I was able to get myself in a position to celebrate the people that I may have been envying, instead of envying them, it's being like, you know what, man, that's really awesome that that happened for her. Or, wow, that's really cool that he was able to accomplish that thing. Now it's like, I don't see them as a threat anymore. I see them as somebody to celebrate, somebody to champion, and somebody to learn from. If they achieve something that I had wanted to achieve for myself, it's like, let me go ahead and slide into this DM over here and see if they can tell me what they did and how they did it. And when I put myself in the position to learn, it's like, you're no longer my competition. Now you're someone who can help me become more of who I believe God wants me to be. So yeah, it was learning to celebrate their success that I think really activated freedom in my life.
Good stuff. Now, I know you detail pretty well in your book about how to detox from this comparison thing. Can you give us like a high level couple of points that we can start to chew on as we wait for our book to come in the mail, Killing Comparison by Nona Jones, ladies and gentlemen?
Of course. Well, I talked a little bit earlier because it's a three-step process, but I talked a little bit earlier about the need to recognize when insecurity is triggered. So that's the first step. Pay attention to what you feel, pay attention to what you think, so that you can be aware of the fact that something has triggered insecurity in you. Because the second step then is once you're aware of the trigger, then you need to reframe whatever that trigger is. And so when you reframe something, you basically change the way that you look at it. You change the vantage point. So as an example, instead of, you see somebody post that they lost 20 pounds and they're looking amazing and you've been struggling with that last 20 pounds, instead of being like, man, why can't I lose the weight? It's so not fair. I'll never lose the weight. What you say is, you know what? She did something that I want to do. Let me see what I can learn from her. So now you've changed the way that you see that person's success. Again, it's an opportunity to learn from them. So you're reframing it. And then lastly, you have to learn how to release it. Don't marinate on it. Don't meditate on it. Just release it. When you recognize what happens and how it makes you feel, learn to release it daily. And this is not a one and done thing because we're human and we're in our flesh. And so there are going to be things that trigger us, but you make the conscious decision that I'm not going to allow this thing to make me see myself as less than, when it's not an indictment on my worth, because God already loves me as much as he ever could. There's nothing I could do in order to have more love or more value in his eyes.
I'm curious because for some, this is going to sound like a painful journey, but for some, it's also going to sound like a necessary journey. Why is it necessary that we take this painful journey? And what was the results for you personally that you experienced for taking this painful journey?
I think it's necessary because too many of us we're not experiencing joy in our life. Like we're walking around depressed, discouraged, feeling like no matter what we do, it's never enough. And those are all lies. That's just a lie of the enemy. And so, yes, it's not an easy journey, but it's so very worth it because it helps to restore the truth about our identity so that we can experience joy in our lives. There's no reason why we should be doing the amazing things that we're doing and still not experiencing joy. You would be surprised. There are some people who they haven't won major awards. They don't have big houses and cars and expensive clothes and big positions, but they have joy because they're not comparing themselves to other people. And so that's why I think it's a necessary journey. And on the other side of it, I will tell you, I have so much joy and peace. I can't tell you what half the people I know are doing. I don't know what they're up to because I'm not paying attention unless they tell me, because I'm so focused on the lane that God has placed me in and making sure that I honor God with the decisions that I make in my life.
Now, did you put up parameters? I asked that question because I remember, as you know, because you've been a vital voice in Ty and I launching our new church. Yo, I had to shut people out, man, because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
competitive, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm starting this
Mhm.
church and I'm looking around because obviously my world, my timeline is full of
Yeah.
pastors and church leaders already. So I'm like, oh, I need to do that. Oh man, am I gonna be able to do that year one?
Mhm.
And so I'm wondering,
Mhm.
because this started with the scroll on your timeline, the journey, have you put in different parameters? Because now you're saying, man, I don't even know what half the people are doing.
Yep. I have what I call selective focus. So there are some people who, we're just friends and so we just kind of keep up with each other. There are other people who maybe their life is in a similar swim lane as mine. And so I don't stay focused, like I don't keep my focus on what they're doing. But if there is something that they're working on that's really interesting to me, then I'll start to pay attention to it. So I use the features like mute, take a break, all of those features so that I'm not constantly inundated with other people's lives. But with selective focus, I may pay attention if I'm like, oh, wait, they're doing something that I want to do. Let me see what they're doing so that I can learn from it. But no, I guard my eyes in order to guard my heart.